A very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Thursday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Well, tonight on the show, we will be talking about the CAF Under-20 African Cup of Nations. Well, wasn't what we expected, but, well, Flying Eagles lost to South Africa. We'll do a post-mortem of the game. And, of course, we'll look at what is happening in basketball. The draws for the qualifiers for the World Cup has been made. The D Tigers find themselves in a group some have said is okay. We'll also look at what is happening here, the NWFL Super 6. Then, of course, we'll travel abroad and take a look at the English Premier League. That's the outlook of the show for today. I urge you to sit back and relax as we take you on a trip across the money spinning world of sports. As you already know, it's a two-man show. My colleague Austin Okonakwan is suited and ready as we go along on this ride.
What a great things to you, Yemi, and of course, everyone joining us on the show tonight. Always an action-packed world of sports in London. I'm Austin Okonakwan. Yemi, some cherry news. Taiwo Awoniyi got out of that induced coma and is recovering fine. We just want to, send our good wishes out there to Taiwo Awoniyi and his family. I know he's strong, and I strongly believe he will come out of this stronger. Taiwo will stay strong for your country. It's just part of the hazards of the job. That was a terrible, terrible, accident he had when, he went against the goalpost in that game against Leicester City. And after the surgery, abdominal surgery, they found out that they needed to do some more work, so he was put into induced coma. That has been done now, and Taiwo Awoniyi is recovering. I remember the last time I was on the show, we were really bothered about it, and this is some good news to start the show, Yemi.
All right, some good news to start the show with. All right, let's quickly introduce our guest in the Lagos studio. Bolu Omoni joins us now as we talk about sports this lovely Thursday evening. Bolu, greetings to you. Thanks for finding time to be with us on the show tonight.
Good to be again. Just like Austin started my radio shows earlier today, the first thing I started with, I didn't care about order, was the good news from the Taiwo Awoniyi story. It's disheartening when you hear things about players' injuries naturally, and the fact that they had to put him on induced coma just to do it. So it means the injury was so delicate that they had to be very, very cautious. But he's out, obviously not going to play again this season. I wish him the quickest recovery ahead of the new season. It's the hazard of the game. It happens. Not that it happens all the time. I've heard people talk about because of the offside rule. It could have been onside. Elanga, and the same thing will still be happening. But the good news now is he's out. The best is just to wish him quick recovery, and hopefully by 2025-26 season, we'll see Taiwo Awoniyi get to the field again.
All right, this is not part of the rundown, but since Bolu said it, let me go to Austin. There's a quote attributed to our own Ola, and he expressed his frustration with the offside rule. Bolu has just entered along that line as well. So the issue is that IFAB, the English Premier League, that is a directive. It's not a law, but it's a directive. And if you're not 100% sure that it's an offside, just let it go. If the player goes on to score, then VAR sorts it out. But some are saying, look, all of this drama is unnecessary. Just wave the flag if you're sure it's offside. But then again, Bolu is giving us another perspective. It could have happened anywhere on the pitch. But this whole drama makes us talk about that directive. Is it necessary?
You see, accidents, will forever be accidents. Remember the Luton captain just slumped. We had the case of Dele Ali. They didn't get themselves against the goalpost or whatever, but things, I think Patrice Luamba also at some point, these things happen, but let's just thank God that he's out of it. What Olaino is saying, I was at that presser in Russia during the 2018 World Cup, and I listened to Pierluigi Collina that VAR has come to change the game, Yemi. Whether or not the linesman raises his flag, and that action goes on and leads to a goal, who is going to stop it or approve it? If the center referee isn't sure, he's just going to consult VAR. VAR will overrule whatever that linesman think it is. I understand the frustration of Olaino and players, but look, there are some certain things the human eyes cannot deal with. And we have also complained that VAR is taking away the human element, but it hasn't been a complete failure. Let's be sincere, you know. Players will definitely have it because they are the major actors on the pitch, and sometimes they just want to get on with the play. If it's off, call it off right there. If it's something that you know you're going to do to, you know, safeguard players or protect the emotions of the game, do it. But technology is here to stay, and it has a role. Like this play, I think they paused it for a while. I think I wouldn't even had a look and saw that the run was on, the linesman flag wasn't raised, and he had to follow the play because they were chasing something. Let's not forget, this thing has happened and everybody is forgetting that Nottingham Forest, they were really gunning for a win in this game against Leicester City. They were playing at the City ground. They had Leicester City that is down and out. They lost that very important game that they shouldn't have lost against Bournemouth at home. And now they are looking at it, oh, Manchester City didn't even win their game. Chelsea didn't win their game. This is an opportunity for us. So they were pushing, they were doing everything. So that's the angle that Olaino should also consider, that there was so much in this game for everyone. And unfortunately, what happened with Taiwo Awoniyi is just a clear testament to the fact that Nottingham Forest were chasing something. And this guy is a fighter. He gives 100%. He saw an opportunity to have that run and see if he can, you know, do his goal poacher role. And it didn't just happen for him. Yemi, we have seen time and time again with coaches, when VAR goes well for them, they don't complain. Players also will look away. But when there's something wrong and we look at it and see that the human element would have dealt with it and technology didn't, and then we'll start talking. It's a case of 6 and 9. It depends on where you're standing.
All right. Depends on where. But I guess we can let the matter rest. The player is out of coma now, and hopefully he'll be back doing what he loves doing.
Yeah, that's the important thing. Like what Austin already said, what if the last man raised the flag, then VAR checked it later? You know, normally players still check highlight, and you found out it was onside and could have been a goal. Then they come back and tell you, oh, VAR. So I think it's just been emotional of my friend, my teammate. Something like this is happening, but it's here to stay. No, there are a few glitches, but those glitches are not even a VAR problem. It's still a human error that we still talk about.
Interpretation issues.
So it's here to stay. We've seen technologies helping, like the semi-automated VAR, that you can't argue the offside when they call. So it's part of the game. Now, yeah, the human angle, but we were the ones who used to complain. I remember the Barcelona-Chelsea game back in the days. I remember the Frank Lampard free goal at the World Cup in 2006. Those were the reasons why goal line technology and everything came over. So let's stick with what we have now.
Let's stick with what we have. Let's move on. I mean, we just had to address that. All right, let's talk about Nigeria's mini Olympics, and it's upon us. The, of course, National Sports Festival, the Touch of Unity, has landed. Of course, it has made its way back to Ogun State, the venue of the event. The state is hosting after the Touch has crisscrossed the length and breadth of Nigeria, of the participating states, including Abuja, the nation's capital. Of course, receiving the Touch at the City Gate and entertained of the state governor, as you can see in your picture. And of course, he urged the youths to use the event as an avenue for sportsmanship and national development. He also assured sports enthusiasts across the country that the state is ready to host competition that will live long in the memory of everyone. Let's take some reaction from that event, and we'll come back to talk some more on the National Sports Festival.
Today, as we receive this touch, we do so with a renewed dedication to national unity, youth development, and celebration of our rich diversity through sports. Hosting this prestigious event for the second time, Ogun State is indeed humbled and honored to embrace the Touch of Unity. We are prepared to showcase a vibrant culture, exceptional hospitality, and the extraordinary talents of our athletes. As this touch has arrived here in Ogun State, may its flame ignite the hopes of our youth, and burn brightly as a symbol of unity for all Nigerians.
All right, I'm going to say Governor Dakwa Abiodun, bearing his mind. Bull, like we always do, ahead of a major sporting event, are you feeling the vibes now?
Well, one thing I like what the NSF for this have been doing. They've been sending out information. It's hard to not know about the sports festival. Most of the time, you fight hard to get information about it. But what these ones have been doing, they've been sending messages almost every day in the last 1-2 weeks. You hear 1 or 2 things about the festival. So what the NSF are doing now, what they tag the safe space for maybe athletes that may have maybe mental health issues. You can have people to talk to and everything. So I think to an extent, you know the festival is coming. You can say maybe because it's closer to us here, but we can feel it. Every day you are hearing 1 or 2 things about the sports festival, and that's what a sports festival should be, because it's our own mini Olympics. It's not that you keep quiet and the only thing you hear, welcome ceremony was yesterday. No, I like that we are getting information every day about the sports festival. I hope the buzz doesn't die when the event starts, and when the event starts, it kicks off from there. I'm sure we should enjoy ourselves. Not too far away, we saw the Southwest Games. Not too far away, we saw the Niger Delta Games. So those 2 events send a message to Ogun State that you cannot drop the bar. Those were regional events, and we know how they produce. I know what they showed. So now the sports festival, they cannot drop the bar. And so far, so good. They've been giving us what we want. Hopefully, it continues all through to the rest of the event.
I hope so as well. My cause for concern, although, I mean, I don't have any evidence yet, so I'll probably let the game start. The buzz ahead of the tournament has been good, but I hope the coverage will be on that same level. I don't know if Austin has any apprehension in that regard, but of course, I think we can all agree that in terms of managing information, in terms of putting out information, the NOC, the sports ministry, they've done well so far. You can't really say you don't know that the National Sports Festival is about to start.
Yeah, but we always want more, because this competition has so much tied to it. It's beyond people just coming to compete. It can actually give us the framework that we need for sports development in our country. Yemi, has it really given us the sort of buzz that we want? Remember, everyone started taking this thing properly when the president received the touch of unity. I think it was about 2 months ago. And I said it that for us to take sports seriously in Nigeria, the presidency must be involved. And right after that, Governor Dakwa Abiodun has been buzzing. He was now interested. The president must have whispered to him, please, let's use this to see the work that we want to achieve with the National Sports Commission. You see what I'm saying? And right after that, don't forget, before the president received the touch, we had already suffered one postponement, Bolu and Yemi. Before the president received the touch, the stadium was not almost half ready. But now, we like the buzz. The touch of unity started going round, and now it has reached the host state, which is Ogun. And this, for me, means a lot. Because there will be a lot of boxes to check. The Director General of the National Sports Commission, Bukola Olopade, is from Ogun State. He was a one-time commissioner, and he has a good working relationship with the state government. Shehu Diko is an astute sports administrator. The president has said, build us a sports economy. It is events as these that they can actually look, and say, what have we done right? Where do we need to consolidate? It goes beyond, look, people can just do anything. These days of flowering media, people can just do anything to make things look good on social media, and sometimes even pay some legacy media to look good. But are we getting the targets, the objectives? Are you meeting that? Is the vision clear enough? From Governor Dakwa Abiodun, after we host this National Sports Festival, what's the place of sports in Ogun State? Akwa Ibom, after you participate, when you go back home, what are the lessons that you can use? Ondo State, Ekiti, Taraba, states in Nigeria that we don't hear anything until the National Sports Festival. Use this and say, but we've been playing. Why can't we sit back now and build properly, think long term? The Regional Sports Festival is doing good. What we saw with the Niger Delta Sports Festival, what we're seeing with the Southwest Games, Dawn Games, everybody can now come together and say, if it's good at the state level, we will shine at the federal.
Yeah.
And just because that is where we can actually go and look, discover talent, let's kill win at all costs and achieve proper development. That's what I want to see, Yemi, because that's what we used to see back in the day. And the academicals, the principal corps. In fact, to the entire sports in the secondary schools, they were all feeds for the National Sports Festival.
Yeah, I hope we get to achieve all of that. I hope the purpose is not lost on us. All right, let's beam the searchlight on one of the states participating in the 22nd National Sports Festival. Let's go to Taraba State, and of course, the governor, Agbu Kefas, spoke with the contingent that will be representing the state in the National Sports Festival. He expressed confidence in the team. The governor also assured them that he will do his best in fully reviving sporting activities for the benefits of all. Of course, he said, and that's what everybody would love to hear, that he has approved and released funds for the National Sports Festival, and he hopes that they will bring optimum results. Let's take some highlights, and we'll come up for more.
I don't want to be greedy. Just bring 10 goals for me. I know with the people I'm seeing here, I know you can make it. And I want to assure you that if you come back with reasonable goals, I'm going to do my best. So go and do your best, put in all your best, don't kill yourself, I don't want casualty, but do your best. You must have practiced enough to go and compete. Let them know that there is a state called Taraba that has everything. Just know that I am behind you, I'm with you, my prayers are with you, and I want to be proud of you. I know you can make it, you can do it. So very soon, we'll focus on sport proper. So just go there and show them that there is a state called Taraba that has everything.
All right, Governor Agbu Kefas speaking there. Of course, that event was a farewell event just to beat the team well. Was held at the gym hall of the Jolly Inyame Stadium in Jalingo, the state capital. Let's go on a break. When we return from that break, we'll talk basketball on the show tonight. We'll talk about the NWFL Super 6. Then, of course, we'll travel abroad. Talk about the English Premier League, the permutations. Of course, there's a winner. Of course, the teams that have been relegated are already known. But the chase for places in European competition hots up in England. So we'll talk about all of that when we return from this break. All right, welcome back. It's time to talk basketball on the show. Of course, you already know what we want to talk about, the FIBA Basketball World Cup. Start with the qualifiers. That will happen. 5 slots available on the African continent. The D-Tigers, Nigeria's senior men basketball team, have been drawn in a group that has, well, maybe I'll just allow Bolu to say whatever his opinion is. I'll go across in a bit to talk about them, just show you the countries in that group. Nigeria will first need to get out of this group, then, of course, go beyond the group stage and probably the next round and ensure that you're able to get a ticket. Let me just quickly go across. I'm very sure Bolu is willing and ready to tell me what his thoughts are with regards to Nigeria's chances of making it out of this group. Well, Nigeria's senior men's national team, the D-Tigers, for the qualifiers, of course, you know the draws were held in Qatar, and we're in Group C And of course, in Group C, you have Nigeria, Rwanda, Guinea, and Tunisia. That is the group we're in. But before we quickly go to Austin, your thoughts on paper shouldn't be difficult to get out of here.
It's not even difficult on paper or on court or everything because 3 teams will qualify from here. It can't be that bad that the Tigers will make first, second, or third. If they can't qualify from this one, there's probably no need for them to go through. I know there has been too many issues surrounding basketball in Nigeria, both the men and the women, but I don't think it's that bad. Based on what we have, if there's any threat to them, probably Rwanda. So I think, not even think, they will qualify from that group. I don't know whether first or second or third, but they will qualify for the next round. But that's now where the tougher task comes in, because then only 5 will qualify amongst all the 16 teams competing here, and the Tigers have to be among the top 5. That's where the challenge is. But for this group, I don't think we should be worried at all.
All right. Austin, your thoughts on this one? You agree with Bolu that we shouldn't lose any sleep, although you have to do well so that you increase your chances of playing, quote and unquote, a weak team so that you can advance. But your thoughts?
I think Bolu said the right things, but with the D Tigers lately, Bolu, let's be sincere, you have some things to worry about. Maybe you're just looking at the group and you're saying, okay, this name shouldn't bother us. But Tunisia and Rwanda also play good basketball, you know, and everything with basketball that I know, speaking to coaches, players, you know, sometimes the mentality that I used to get into, you know, the competition really matters. But with everything that they've shown, they gave us a scare with the qualifiers for the AfroBaskets, but did just enough, you know, in the last phase to pick it up. But you cannot say 100% that there's so much confidence around this D Tigers team. And I truly don't blame the technical crew or the players. I put it on the basketball leadership all day, every day, because in the last, I think, 2 to 3 years with the men, we cannot really come out and say this is our team. We can do same for the ladies, and we see the results. You know, we have a pool of players dropped from the ladies, and then they still come back because they have played, you know, for a period of time together. They still get the results. But with the men, it's been cut and join. It's been a lot of, you know, what are we doing next? More like there's no planning and the rest. But hey, we love going to competitions, so maybe the MBBF will just do that same, you know, fire brigade approach, rush, put everything together, and see how the food can taste good. But, Yemi, I told you, and I'm saying it again, it's been about 4 or 5 years now. Anything that has to do with basketball in Nigeria, I just say good luck. Whatever happens, we will take.
All right, whatever happens, we will take. I just hope we don't make things difficult for ourselves. Let's move on the show and talk about developmental football. CAF Under-20 AFCON is where we're going. I'll just quickly talk about the result. I don't know why I feel like this leaves a bitter taste in my mouth, because at some point I thought we were going to win this game. Nigeria losing 1-0 to South Africa, a goal considered in the 66th minute. Morocco defeated Egypt 1-0. Bolu, your thoughts? I don't think I've spoken with you about this team, but your thoughts on this game in particular. You could say job done, we have the ticket in our hands, so in a way, yes. But this game, how did it make you feel?
Well, football is just an interesting sport. They literally played their best football in the tournament in this game against South Africa, and it's the one they lost. That game has been, you know what they say in the local parlance, like the dirty eye. That's what that game has been. They just watch and let's just watch because we are Nigerians. That game has not been attractive or interesting to watch. But this one, they played better. They had loads of attempts, lots of chances, but they could not convert. I remember listening to the manager before the game, Aliou Zuberi, talking about, well, no more pressure on them. They've secured the ticket, so the pressure is not there. Now they will play with their best. And it looked like it. But unfortunately, you need to put the ball into the back of the net, score more than your position to win. Now it's more like, that's why I understand what you mean by the bitter taste. And okay, after all the hope you raised here, you lost of all teams to South Africa. But the truth is, how you lay your bed is how you sleep, but no matter what you say. The important one which I gave them the task for is secure the World Cup ticket first. They will know what next to do after that, which they've done that. They've secured the World Cup ticket. Now they have enough time to prepare even harder ahead of the World Cup. They cannot win on the 20 again. They can't get their 8th title. But the World Cup, Nigeria have never won it before. The best we've done is to finish second. Can they win it? It's definitely possible. You have to prepare to want to win it. You don't win tournaments by mouth. You win by preparation and a bit of luck.
Well, preparation and a bit of luck. Austin, I would have loved to come here to say they didn't play well, but I think they did. Today, they happened to play better than the previous games today, but it just so happens that is the one they lost.
That's football for you, Yemi, but it's been coming. Let's begin with the first game against Tunisia. They struggled to score goals. That one ended 1-0. Let's go to the game against Morocco. It was goalless. Against Kenya, they had to come back 2 times to play 2-2. Against Senegal, it was goalless, and they won via penalties because Senegal they were just unfortunate with penalties. Bottom line in football, if you're not scoring goals, you're not winning. It's as simple as that. You must score goals. You must be a team that is built around scoring goals because that's how you stay relevant. That's how you stay in the competition. And we didn't see it. The other day you were trying to make me call names. We didn't see it. I've said it time and time again that until we are truthful with ourselves, get a conscience, say truly, we want to build. It's not just win at all costs. It's not until when there's a competition, we want to put together a team and see that we can just do something. No, it's what you sow, you reap. I was listening to Governor Skefa saying, go and get me 10 gold medals. What has Taraba done that we can say, oh, this is the blueprint, this is what you have on ground. Oh, Taraba, they are good with wrestling. Taraba is good with table tennis. Taraba is good to go and win. We just want to put everything together. Look at this South Africa team and their structure. Even when they were not really winning, they were impressive. I was following them from their group. I was watching the way they were playing. You could tell that there's a lot of work going on in this team. And in some matches that you think that, oh, it's going to be difficult, they get a late goal. They did it twice. Their last match and their last group game. They will leave it late. They will soak pressure. They were playing. You could tell that the talent is raw. And go look at the guy. Look at the players. Look at Tylon. Look at him, Yemi. Just look at the guy. You could tell that he's really young. He's playing raw football. That's the problem I have. I don't care whether somebody will say they have won and they have gone to the World Cup and all of that. We want to see promise. We want to see prospect. We want to say, now that Wilfred Ndidi is getting tired, we'll see somebody that can come fill in, the gap. We didn't see it with this team. And that's why everybody is really bad, because if they had gone to the final and they somehow win the tournament, we'll come back and we'll start praising them again. No, this team wasn't put together to win. It was a team that was put together to do the bare minimum of qualifying for the World Cup, and they have done that. Nothing special, Yemi.
All right, nothing special. I really wish we had time. We'd have gone to look at the other angles. 2 issues here, Bolo, quickly. Some will say, what can we do before they go to the World Cup to turn them to a winning team? But the real issue is, how can we benefit long term from this team? But I know those are questions that will take a lot of time. But what can be done?
One of the things to help you grow in terms of sports across board, not just football, is have a long-term plan. I remember when England started it, 10 years to something, or 8 years is what they called it. People thought, no matter, you always have stars, nothing happened. And in the space of 12, 15 years, England moved from under 17, so them both at the world stage and the European stage, to under 20 to 21, till they've been close on 3 different occasions to Euros. They got to finals, they got to World Cup semi-final. That's progress. Yes, I know they've not won, but you could see progress. See what Morocco have done over the years. Go to Spain. Spain 20 years ago, nobody knew Spain with female football. In fact, I don't even think they had a women's team 20 years ago. See what progress did. They won the Euros, they won the World Cup. You need to have a plan. I was having a conversation with some guys that, oh, let's forget about this World Cup. We may still qualify, still possible mathematically, but are we thinking about 2030? where we'll be hosted between our neighbors there, Morocco, Spain, and Portugal. There has to be an intentional plan. I remember the Rio Olympics where South Africans won medals. I had a conversation with someone, they said they had a plan that many of the guys who won their medals were from a school. It's a school, but they focus on sports. You school them, but you groom. It has to be. It's not. I know we have this, rugged spirit in Nigeria. Just jam body go, Nigeria spirit. But if we add that Nigeria spirit with intentionality, we should achieve more. Right. Look at sports that come to Nigeria. We don't know nothing about it. In space of weeks and months, we are doing it. Imagine if we now intentionally put hearts and minds to it. We need a plan. Without a plan, we'll go to the World Cup. They may even get to semi-final again. What next? What next?
That's the big question. Let's move on. I didn't want to go into that rabbit hole. I know that time will not be enough if we want to look at all the angles. All right. I'm going to go across in a bit. Let's talk about the NWFL Super 6 Day 4 results is what you're about to see. Interesting. All of the teams, apart from one maybe, are still in the running for the title. All right. So, I go across. Match Day 4 results. Edo Queens defeated Bayelsa Queens. Rivers Angels beat Niger Rattles 2-0. Remo Stars ladies played a goalless draw with Nasarawa Amazons. All right, let's see what the table looks like. And just one more game left to be played. And there you have it. Nasarawa Amazons on top. Edo Queens in second. Bayelsa Queens, Remo Stars, Rivers Angels, Niger Rattles. And you will see that sign that we have put there because mathematically they cannot win. They will play their last game, but they cannot win. They're not in the running. For the other teams, a good result and a combination of results elsewhere maybe. But for that team, they cannot win. I guess Rivers United as well, cannot win because you already have Nasarawa Amazons up there. All right, so, Austin, your thoughts on...
Yeah.
I'm still looking at this top 4. It could still be any one of them.
It could be. Remember the last time I spoke to you, we were talking about the top 3 at the time, and I said just one draw can change everything. Now look at Remo Stars ladies and where they are on that table. It's because of what that draw did to them. Edo Queen wasn't there at the time, but because of one good win, look at where they are. So when you're playing this sort of Super 6 tournaments, every win matters, particularly when we're approaching the end. And Edo Queens, what a time to do it. Against a very decent Bayelsa Queens, they had to dig deep to get this win. And with that win now, if you take a look at the table again, look at what it did to them. It brought them right on top of Bayelsa Queen with almost the same goal difference. I say first, second, and third with a +2 goals difference. But look at Nasarawa Amazons doing so well just because they haven't lost a game. So when you have 2 wins with the other guys and 2 draws, that's what is making the difference. But hey, they cannot afford to drop any point because now Edo Queens and Bayelsa Queens will be gunning for wins. And when they do that, and Nasarawa Amazons cannot, do the same, maybe play a draw or lose, then they'll be out of reckoning. But don't even take Remo Stars out of it yet. But I'm just only looking at the goals difference. In their next game, they need to score goals. So I like the fact that this is competitive. We talked about it. We know that the women will come out. They will play beautiful football. They will show us what we've been missing, particularly for people who haven't been following them in the regular season. This is a time to prove a point. Bayelsa Queens, this loss to Edo Queens is their first loss. Remember, Yemi and Bolu, they didn't lose any game during the regular season. So I love it. Let's see what will happen in the final round of games.
All right, let's see what will happen. Let's leave it at that for all the ladies. Let's travel abroad. We go to Austin's backyard. Let's talk about the English Premier League. Quickly, we look at the fixtures. We're pressed for time. We may not be able to take the reactions we would have loved to take, but there are things to talk about. Aston Villa taking on Tottenham Hotspur. Chelsea taking on Manchester United. Bolu, before I yield to Austin, I feel so sorry for Tottenham Hotspur. They've had to deal with a lot. They've had to deal with a lot in terms of injuries. And now we're hearing Dejan Kulusevski's out for the seasons. He explains where they are, but you're looking at Chelsea, you're looking at one or two teams that are still thinking they can get into that Champions League spot?
Well, the Europa League men have called it the Battle of Clowns. Both of them, it shows based on their position in the Premier League. If you're a betting man, I think you should put your money on both Chelsea and Villa to go through with this one, because Spurs, especially with the injury problem, James Maddison is out. Now the Jan Kulusevski has joined Son. Too many things are happening around him. He's out of form. With this game, I will be shocked if I see any of their regular players for Spurs in this one. Same thing for United. Some of their key players will also rest, because it feels like both teams, their entire season, rest on the final. So whatever happens, if United win, well, they've salvaged their season. Spurs have had a terrible season. If Spurs win, they salvage their season. Postecoglou, I always win in my second. And United, Amorim will get it hard. So both of them would definitely be focused. If you ask them, they'll tell you, oh, it's a game at a time. But we know deep down, based on the lineup they will likely come up with, they need to rest some of their key players. So if I'm betting, you can just go for the two home teams to pick up victories in this one. And remember, Chelsea are still chasing the Champions League. Aston Villa also chasing the Champions League. Even though if I were Emery, I'll probably just go for Europa League, where is my strength, and I'll probably win that one. But I think both Villa and Chelsea should pick up 3 points tomorrow.
All right, also the floor is yours. I don't know if you agree with Bolu. I mean, both teams, if the three teams are not being relegated, I don't know what would have happened to Tottenham and Manchester United. This is they probably would have gone down, but of course
it would have been hard for football to treat them that way. I was also having that conversation today in one of my radio interviews, and I said, look, football is spiritual here. I mean, that you have Tottenham and Manchester United where they are, and they are playing the Europa League final. You will run mad trying to explain it, So there's no way that if those three teams are not relegating, that you have them there. I was speaking to my friend, he's a youth coach at Tottenham, and he's saying that that's where Tottenham needs to work on. And we should respect Wenger. He actually gave Wenger his flowers that no matter how bad a Wenger team is with injury, some way, somehow, he will get into that academy or that team or that reserve bench and find a way to still stay relevant. Even when they were not winning trophies, they were qualifying for the UEFA Champions League. That no matter how bad it should have been for Tottenham, that the scout should have been able to have a team that when somebody isn't available, you have just enough to be good in the league. And I totally agree. Anyway, they're going to be playing Aston Villa. It's going to be very, very difficult for them at Villa Park, because Aston Villa, if they win that game, they will get to 66 points, tied on points with Newcastle, and that's a very, very important game for Unai Emery. Postecoglou has been speaking about it. Listen.
Look, I guess because it's been a constant with us during the year, we've kind of become almost accustomed to it, and I think it would probably be a bigger issue if we've had a smooth run all year and sort of got hit with injuries now, and we kind of had to deal with missing key players. But we've pretty much been without key players the whole season. There hasn't been a time where you kind of go, oh, we've had a 3 or 4 week spell with our strongest lineup fairly settled. So yeah, the boys are sort of getting on with it. They're disappointed for the people involved. Obviously, Decky being the latest one, because he had a fantastic sort of first part of the year for us and was just working his way back into it. But at the same time, as I keep saying to the group all along, you can't pick and choose when these opportunities come along. There could be other years where we don't have these disruptions and don't have injuries, but we don't get to a final. So the reality of it is now the opportunity's there, and whatever happens between now and then, we've got to make sure we're ready for it.
So coaches Yemi and Bolu can always come up with all of these excuses, but Angel should go back to the start of the season. I think the first 10 matches, everyone was talking about Tottenham and their performances, so should have found a way to keep that going. Anyway, I don't know if we have time to listen to Amorim, but Bolu, he says, that's Ruben Amorim, Manchester United manager, that he's not looking at the Europa League final, that he's focused on Chelsea. I know Bako will say, Yimu.
Yeah, he's just whining us. I remember when he said the same thing ahead of the semi-final. And we saw their pre-semi-final game in the Premier League, rested Bruno Fernandes and everyone. Like I said, they will keep telling you, no, it's a game at a time. If you beat Chelsea 100-0, to what end? No, nothing. Your key players will be stressed out. But if you rest all these guys and focus, I'm not saying it's a guarantee that you win. It doesn't mean the players still can't pick a knock even in the warm-up leading to the game itself, but it's just better. Get your guys to rest well. There's nothing to play for again in the Premier League. They can't go down anymore. Even though they were in the relegation battle, they may not even hit the 40-point mark for survival. But what they can use to salvage their season has to be the Europa League. I listened to him when he initially said, well, if he can't solve the problem, they should probably find someone else. He had to backtrack the statement that, oh, I'm not leaving. His job is not on the line, incidentally, for this one. I talked already that even no matter what happens, he remains. But on the other side, if Spurs fail, Postecoglou may go. So both of them know what they need to do ahead of that Europa. Right. I will be shocked if any of the two managers play their first team in tomorrow's Premier League. All
right, Bolu, before we go for a few seconds, Enzo Maresca, Chelsea. If he doesn't qualify for the Champions League, has this season been a failure? In your books, whatever happens, how would you rate Enzo Maresca?
Well, he had the same problem he had with Leicester. Great first half of the season, they struggled a bit in the second half. Fortunately, was able to win with Leicester, but this time around, it's hard. But for a team like Chelsea, they always want to make the Champions League, no matter what happens, no matter their level. Lampard, without transfer window, ended up making the Champions. So if he does not, I'm sure deep down, even though they will not say it out, they've given him votes of confidence that he stays for next season. But believe me, if they don't make the Champions League, they will feel that they failed somehow. But it means there will be more pressure on him for a second season, because then they will tell him, you have the full hand. And if you do not win, you may have to get the exit door.
All right. I guess it's time up for us, but I'm very sure Austin wants to say something about Enzo Maresca. Is he going to get the boot or will he stay?
Will stay. I think he's got a good blueprint going on. I had a chance of, speaking to him right after that North London derby. That London derby with Arsenal that ended 1-1. And I think he's got a good plan. Don't forget, if they win their next two games and Man City or Newcastle don't win, they might finish in the top four. And hey, he's playing in the Europa League conference final. You guys remember? So when he lifts a trophy, Bud might just say, okay, let's see if he can go and lift a bigger European trophy. We'll see. That's the show. In London, I'm Austin Okonakpan. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
Well, it's a wrap here in Lagos as well, but I want to thank Bolo Money for his time on the show today.
Yes, that was a pleasure coming on.
All right, we'll do this again some other time. We hope you enjoyed everything we've been able to give you. One more edition left for the week. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you again tomorrow. I'm Amy Adebayo. Bye-bye now.